Dan with Sweet Maria's here. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about this new portable espresso machine we're carrying called the Flair, and in particular how it compares to the Rok, another portable espresso machine in its class. We've had this particular model of the Rok in-house for a few years now, a test model, and so I've had a lot of time to test it out. And there's a couple things we really like about the Rok. One is the build. It's extremely sturdy, made almost entirely of cast metal parts. And so under normal use, you really shouldn't have any issues with bending or breaking the Rok. It's also a really portable machine, which is nice since it's marketed as such. It's two pieces when it's assembled, which is the portafilter, and then you have this body, which is fairly light, just a couple pounds, and it's narrow, so it lays really nicely in like a suitcase, or you could throw it in your backpack to stow away. The Flair also is both of these things. It's almost entirely cast metal parts as well, so really sturdy, stable base, and it comes with this nice little carrying case for packing it away, which is useful. It's a few more pieces than the Rok, and so kind of a bit of a puzzle getting it into the carrying case. So I'd say hold on to this card, which has a little diagram showing how to stow this machine away. Make sure you don't lose this. The biggest difference between these two that we found is in regards to heat retention. The Rok, you essentially pour hot water. You're going to want to pour hot water into the brew head here to sort of preheat this before you pull a shot of espresso. As you can see, this is the one plastic part of the machine, and plastic isn't the best material for keeping heat in. But perhaps the biggest issue with heat retention is with regards to the piston mechanism inside. So the way you get water into this brew head is by pouring hot water in the top. You lift both handles, and the piston, as it raises up, allows water to pass through these little side channels. And what happens is that water aerates as it's trickling down into the brew head and does lose a little bit of temperature along the way. It's kind of like pouring hot water between two glasses to cool it down. And so then you press the water through, and there's your espresso extraction. With the Flair, you actually can pull this whole brew head piece off. You can take this little basket out that you put your grounds in, and both of these pieces can just sit in like a couple mugs or bowls with hot water on top and get really hot. And when it's finally time to pull your shot of espresso, you can pull these out by the rubber base, which is not going to be hot. Put them together, drop them in your Flair, pour your hot water, and then immediately cover it with this little plunger that has a nice little O-ring around it that'll help to seal that hot water in. You pull the handle, and that's your espresso extraction. We tested both machines without coffee in the portafilters, measuring the water temperature exiting at the shower screen after fully heating up both machines. And with the Rok, measuring with a thermo probe, we got temperature readings of 190 degrees Fahrenheit. And with the Flair, it was 195 degrees, which is really the bottom end of where you want to be in order to achieve a really good extraction. And so that was the big separator for us. The espresso shots we pulled on the Rok were a bit more like watery espresso or really strong coffee. And the Flair was very comparable with what we were getting with a pump machine, the pump machine we use in-house here, and really quite impressive. One other difference between the two that we noted is the ability to clean the machines. The Flair is a lot of parts, and so it's a little bit more to clean. However, since you have access to all the individual pieces, you can break this down completely. It's a lot easier to do a thorough cleaning without having to disassemble the machine in any way. With the Rok, it's only two pieces. However, there are these different, like with the shower screen, for instance, there's a little rubber shower head that pulls away from the sides of the brew head, and so we found that grinds can get stuck up in there and be a little tricky to get out without using quite a bit of water to flush this thing out. Similarly, the piston, though the screw can be removed and you can gain access to inside this chamber, without pulling that off, you can't really clean inside. And so that can be, just a little bit problematic, especially if you're on the road as well. The last thing I'll say about these two machines is they both come in at under $200. The Rok retails for $200 for the basic setup right now. The Flair is $140 for all of this right here. Neither the Rok or the Flair have a standard basket size, so you're going to want to buy the tamper produced by the manufacturer. Rok has a tamper that's $70, and this little Flair tamper is $30, and both fit the baskets very snug. So yeah, I hope the comparison helps to answer any questions that customers have, and thanks for checking out the video. We have another video online actually that outlines the Flair, how to use the Flair in a little bit more detail, and so check it out. Thanks.